and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this midweek Champions League review podcast, my guest and I will be reviewing our 2-0 home victory over League One side PSG. And remember to check out our podcast on our Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and also on Spotify. So sit back and enjoy the show. On this special midweek podcast, we don't have many, but when the Champions League and League Cup games come up, we'll be doing them more often as the season progresses. But I'm glad to be welcomed by my regular guests. Eamonn MAtt, first of all, how are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Matt. I was just finished listening to the Archers on the wireless there. If 2-0 is the worst lead in football, just keep it at 1-0. No, we're all good. We're all good. Good to see you, Matt.
As Brian Clough said, I'm not the best in the world, but I'm definitely number one.
I'm definitely in the top one. Yeah.
I saw a match today when Nottingham Forest are playing at home. What a quote.
Brilliant. It's genius.
I'm also joined by our number one, Matt Bourne. How are you? Does that sound good?
All good, buddy. Not too bad. Happy with another win. Last night, so all good.
Absolutely. We're off to a flyer and a nice 4 points from 2 games. Of course, we won 2-0 last night. Goals by Kai Havertz after 20 minutes and Bukayo Saka in around the 34th minute mark from a beautiful free kick. 2-0 and it's 2 wins now. It's 4 points from 2 games. 2 goals, none conceded. So all going well, and we're in. I think at the moment we're in 8th place in the table, which is the first 8 is the most important in this new Champions League format. In terms of a few notes that I took down last night, lads, a very lively start after the first couple of minutes. Martinelli and Donnarumma went 1-on-1, and that kind of sets small little things like that. I know it just sets the atmosphere really up, and I thought the Emirates crowd, really played a big part last night. It was electric. We drowned out the PSG fans, even though there was only 3,000. They made some noise, but the Arsenal fans really got behind the team when we scored and really drowned them out and kept them quiet. I suppose the action really kicked off with the first goal. After 20 minutes, Leandro Trossard's cross into the box was just beautiful. Took out Marquinhos and the PSG defence, and there Kai Havertz 1-on-1 with Donnarumma straight in for the header. Didn't mind getting clattered from Donnarumma. Donnarumma completely misjudged it, flapped at it, and there was Kai Havertz. If this was a season before, I'm sure he wouldn't even have gone in for that header. So you can see, and I think Martin O'Neill made a good point on Premier Sports last night. That header against Brentford away, when he got that header, that really set him up that he can go in for these type of headers, and that was a very good point that Martin O'Neill, and I think Eamonn and yourself, Matt, last season said the same. That header sparked Kai Havertz up to one. That was Kai Havertz's 6th goal in a row at the Emirates last night. So we can see we don't really need. They're all about having a main striker, but he's our number 9, I think, and long may he continue. On the 28th minute, Mendes of PSG had a shot just arrowed wide from Raya's left-hand post. It gave us a bit of a fright. But Bukayo Saka, after 34 minutes, his free kick from the right-hand side went straight in. And I think it was largely thanks to the runs of Martinelli and Partey putting out Donnarumma. Didn't get a clear side. And there's probably poor goalkeeping in fairness on Donnarumma's part. I thought he was quite poor last night for being the most expensive keeper. But that was our 27th goal from set pieces since last season, which is quite incredible. And then on 38 minutes, Trossard had a shot saved by Donnarumma. Which led us into a second half, which we really controlled, very similar to the Man City game. I know we were down to 10 men in that game, but I thought we were controlled at our own pace last night at 2-0, nullified PSG in midfield to going back to the keeper. They didn't really cause us much problems. Martinelli had a shot after 51 minutes. It went straight to Donnarumma, but I think either side of him, that would have been game, set and match. What a move it was as well. Havertz little flick up over to him and a first-line body. PSG on the 64 to 67 minute, they'd had a few chances from Fabian Ruiz, but the most one was that Korean Lee, that shot he took from far out that swerved, and I thought Ray was very quick at saving. That was another excellent save. We kept that young lad Barcola really quiet. Calafiori done a superb job on him, and I think to round it off, Lewis Skelly coming on for his first Champions League appearance at 18 summed up a great night. I don't want to come to yourself, Eamon. What did you make of last night's Champions League match?
Okay, well, the first thing I'd say is that I didn't like the format of the competition when it started, but I'm really bought on it now. I'm really sold on it, right? Because it's so random.
Yeah.
So you used to look at the group, and you had 4 teams in the group, and you'd say, okay, there's 3 home games, there's 7 points, and there's another point, and you'd say, there's your 10 points. It's not like that at all. It's all over the gaff.
Yeah.
So it's actually very exciting. I think it's really rejuvenated the third format, and hats off to the organ. Now I know it's a step towards a Super League and all that, but like if we see this kind of format for the next 10 seasons, you know, I think it's good, you know. So I wanted to say that because
the pundit said last night, sorry, Eamon, it's uncoordinated chaos, but it's beautiful uncoordinated chaos. But I tell you what, now I'll talk about the atmosphere in the stadium in a small while. I think it contributes to that. Yeah.
So the first thing I'd say about the performance is it was very mature, right? This is a team that has matured in front of our eyes over the last 2 seasons. From the fledglings in 22-23 when they excited us all in that beautiful autumn. And it reminds me very much of, Matt will remember this, the Arsenal team in 87 that won the Littlewoods Cup at the time. All those youngsters, those fledglings, men in 89, 90 and 91. And there's a very similar trajectory here. That was a very, very mature performance. And the reason why I say that is, like, we were good in the first half, and our combinations were good, and we opened up good spaces. But in the second half, we didn't make a conscious decision not to dominate the ball. We just couldn't dominate the ball. They were 2-0 down. They had to do other things, and they came on the front foot. But we didn't particularly defend in a low block. We defended, rather than from the edge of the box, from about 5 to 10 meters further outside the box to squeeze the pitch a little bit. So while they had a lot of the ball, we were almost teasing them and to say, well, look, you now have to play through us. And when you try and do that, we're in a position where we're not just defending at the edge of the box, a la Man City, and kicking the ball away. If we recover possession, your lines are now open. And if your lines are open, we're going to play through you. And we did. Like, I know PSG had a few chances, but we didn't have chances in the second half as well. We had good chances. So it was a very mature performance. The atmosphere, and again, I can't go to every game. I was there last Saturday. I'm going again this Saturday. But from the TV, the atmosphere came across as very, very positively charged. And do you know what I think that is? I think it's a break from the Premier League and all the stress that people are going through watching Man City and all of that type of stuff and all that meltdown that we had in the stadium on Saturday, just because we were stuck at 2-2 with Leicester. I think it's a kind of a release for the supporters. This is a competition that we're hoping to go. We're not as advanced in this competition as we now are in the Premier League, and I think that's a release. And I think the stadium should be like that all the time. So look, it was you mentioned Calafiori. He ended up popping up over on the right. Okay, so at times his body position was wrong because he was on the wrong side, but he can't half defend. He's a front foot defender, almost like a schoolboy, you know. But he also is a very, very good, intelligent footballer and gets into great spaces to make himself available, to take possession and move it on. And I don't want to draw comparisons to one of the all-time greats, but he is Maldini-esque. If his trajectory continues, that is the type of player you're looking at that we've signed, you know. So all told, very, very good. You have to remember, this is not like a Premier League game where you're going to get 30 chances and 17 saves and all that. This is opposition at the highest level. And I thought we acquitted ourselves really, really well. But the thing that struck me most was how mature the performance was.
Mm. Yeah.
And I'll finish by saying we were in control when we weren't in control of the ball. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just before I come on to Matt, Eamon, how pleased were you with, we're raving about Havertz nearly week on this podcast. How happy are you with him getting into those positions, not afraid to be clocked by the goalkeeper? You can see that he's one thing on his mind is getting to that ball. Very like an Alan Smith, isn't he? Like he wants to get onto that cross.
He is. But you see, Arteta as a player himself had a bit of the devil in him. He was able to put his foot over the ball a small bit without breaking anybody's leg. He had a bit of the devil, and I think he's instilled that into Havertz. I mean, I said on the show the other night when we were reviewing the Leicester game, Havertz he's spiky.
Yeah.
You know, and going in for that header was brave.
Yeah.
But the best thing about it was, apart from the beautiful cross, the timing of Havertz's run.
Beautiful.
And staying well outside was incredible.
Yeah.
I read an interview with him, and I'll finish on this and let Matt in. I read an interview with him. It was on the Arsenal.com, and what he said was, when he's playing in the Emirates Stadium, he feels at home, and that makes all of the difference to a player.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And one last thing, we got a chance to see Mikel Merino come on.
Yeah.
But the most eye-catching thing for me about that was that I put Declan at 6 at the base of the midfield, and that's a role Declan's going to play a lot more often. But I don't want to kind of rubbish Thomas. I think Thomas Partey's attitude this season has been first class. Okay, he's given the ball away a few times, but he's been really working hard and doing his best, and he's done a really good job. So that was my take on last night. You know. Yeah.
There's one more, Matt. I'll come to you now. What Eamon mentioned on Saturday, we were relentless from the start against Leicester, and I thought the first 34 minutes, you know, we were relentless. I think we really caught PSG off guard. You know, we really went at them. How impressed were you with Arsenal, and particularly that first 45? We were brilliant, weren't we?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the whole game we were excellent. And, you know, like Luis Enrique said it in an interview there the other day. He said, Arsenal are the best team in the world without the ball.
Yeah.
You know, so we're like, you know, at the start of the season, we hadn't hit top form yet. And we needed a game like the Man City game where we were under that cosh. You know, we played a very good first half against City, and then we were under the cosh for the second half, but we dealt with it. We went out against Paris last night, and we changed up the tactics there, where we were still under pressure, but we were able to build on it and actually still create chances, still create stuff going forward. You know, which was, you know, people are talking about dark arts and everything else, which I still don't really know what the dark arts are, but there you go. Maybe it's Ben White loosening a glove or whatever else. That's fine. But no, we've built on that. You know, we've had the tough games against Tottenham away, City away, and we went there last night, put in performance like that. It wasn't perfection, but it was beautiful. We were fantastic in the first half going forward. We defended brilliantly in the second half. The same again. We were, you know, when we were on the back foot against PSG and they were creating chances, they weren't creating that much. We weren't letting them create chances. They were getting forward. They didn't know what to do. City were the same when we played them. They didn't know what to do when they got to the box, and they were knocking it back and forward. But the difference was, against City, we just absorbed all this pressure. But against Paris, we were able to push that, like Eamon said, we were able to push that a little bit more forward. We were able to create more chances ourselves. I thought it was a beautiful performance. Absolutely beautiful. I think Kai Havertz, you know, again, we talk about him all the time, you know. I've been an advocate for Kai since he joined, obviously. But when you see the work rate he puts in, you know, he got man of the match last night. When you see not only the positions he gets himself into for goals, but also positions he gets himself into to make space for other players. Yeah. He's very, very intelligent footballer, and he gets into these spaces and he creates other opportunities because of what he's done. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic. Full credit to him.
Just to add to that, the other thing in the interview that he said, and this would be great news for all fans of the Arsenal. he says, and I can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, and that's yeah.
Listen, he's never going to be a Haaland, you know.
No,
but we don't need a Haaland, you know, because we've got a Saka, and we've got a Martinelli, and we've got a Trossard, you know, and we've got an Odegaard when he comes back, and we've got players who we're gonna score. We scored the most goals in Premier League last year, whereas Haaland seems to score every goal from Man City. We're scoring from all over the pitch. It's not the way we play. I don't know. Look, ultimately, you know, the thoughts of having a centre forward who's going to score you 30 goals a season is fantastic, but you know, Havertz is playing such an amazing game where he's creating all these chances and he's getting into good positions and he's making space for everybody else. He's been absolutely phenomenal, really, really good. I thought Calafiori, I think if he doesn't get sent off in the next few weeks, I don't know what's going on, because at some stage I think he's gonna be our new Xhaka. Whereas every week you're gonna wonder if he's gonna get sent off, because it's gonna happen. It's definitely going to happen at some stage.
About him, yeah.
But he's a beast. He's an absolute beast.
He won't be good. Do you notice that? He had a bit of a scuffle with Ruiz, but he won't be. I like that for someone so young. He's
absolutely. And you want to see that. You want to see that passion, you know. Yeah. But, you know, some referee will send him off, and, you know, he'll get booked every other week, and every 5 games he'll be suspended for 1 game and so on. But listen, we've got the cover there now, you know. You know, we've got, you know, Ben White's obviously has a knock at the moment, but you've got Timber there, who maybe had a bit of a knock last night. But we're very, very, you know, we're in good shape. We're in good shape all over the pitch. Bukayo Saka, you know, without, you know, and I'm touching wood right now, the guy never gets injured.
Yeah.
You know, it's unbelievable.
Shut up.
He'll hobble off the pitch, and he'll be substituted, and then he'll be back the next game. You know, he's playing in the Carling Cup, he's playing in the FA Cup, he's playing in the Champions League, he's playing in the league. The guy is just, he's unbelievable. You know, when you see a lot of the young players are made of glass, and we've seen it over the years with players like Jack Wilshere and so on.
Yeah.
Jesus, he's made of something different.
The only thing he's not in is the crib at Christmas.
Yeah, it could be. But listen, a fantastic performance, absolutely unbelievable credit to the team, because, you know, and that goes to the coaching staff and to Arteta and everything else, because, you know, I that's what I felt last night. I felt like it could have been a Man City, whereas you come out in the second half, like we did against Leicester the weekend, Eamonn, right? You know, they came out in the second half, they got a couple of quick fire goals, and we all got worried. You know, we didn't worry as much as some of the people in the crowd, as was discussed on the day. There was a heated debate between yourself and the guys next to you, which I saw, which was excellent. But I leaned over to you at the game and I said, we need Wineri on now to give us our Reece Nelson moment. Now, it wasn't him, but it could have been, you know. But there was never, I didn't have a doubt in my mind that we'd win the game, you know. So I think
when all around us were losing their heads, we ours.
I know. I think you had a debate with the guy beside you and the guy in front of you as well. So you know.
I covered that on the show the other night. I told the lad next to me that the Samaritans were good at.
I saw it happen. I had a good laugh about it. I did. But listen, I think the Man City game taught us a lot in relation to getting our game completely together, you know. And we started the season off. We've won games, we've drawn a couple of games, and we're right up there. But the Man City game, I think, taught us an awful lot in the sense of, you know, we're a fucking good team. We're such a good team. We've got such a good squad, such good players, such great attitude, great atmosphere around the stadium. And I think we learned from the Man City game, we can defend, lads. We can defend, but we can also attack.
It's easy to see, like,
you know,
defending is just unreal, isn't it?
Yeah. But I hope people try and understand the point I was trying to make about, in Man City, we took a conscious decision. We're going to take a pummeling, and we're going to defend from the edge of the box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Last night, it wasn't from the edge of the box. It was about 8 or 10 meters.
That's what you said. Yeah, absolutely.
Higher. You know,
100%. 100%. But that comes down to the training. That comes down to Arteta, who looked at the Man City game and went, maybe if we, keep them a little bit further forward, you might get some opportunities in that.
Yeah.
And that's what we did last night. So the team is maturing all the time. And listen, we've spoken about it for a couple of seasons. We're building something great there. It'd be such a shame if this team cannot achieve what the boys from '87 did, Eamon, like you said. To go on, to build from that and go on and win a couple of titles and, do well in Europe and everything else. We can do it. We can absolutely do it. But it'd be such a shame not to see it happen. But I firmly believe in this side. I think we're absolutely superb. We're only getting better. I think we'll go out and knock 6 past poor Aaron Ramsdale on Saturday, hopefully.
Look,
back, yeah.
The other side of it is the team is maturing into men. We are absolutely huge. The physicality in that team.
Oh, absolutely.
There was one stage in the game where Saliba went back towards his own goal in the first half, and he the way sometimes when you're running, you just lose a step. And I looked as if the ball was going to be nicked off him.
Yeah.
He was out on the near touchline.
Yeah.
I looked at it, and he just used his physicality to slide in and poke it back. That would have been, like 2 years ago, that would have been a fall over moment.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the physicality of the team is incredible.
No, it is incredible.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. And it's all over the pitch as well. Everybody, we've got players in all positions who are that physical. You only have to look at when they put a challenge in, and they put a challenge in at 3-0 up. Gabriel puts a challenge in at 3-0 up, and they're hugging each other like they scored a goal. They've got that kind of belief in themselves that we're 3-0 up, but we're not conceding a goal today, and they are that good. Like Enrique said, we're the best team in the world without the ball, and it's absolutely correct. That defense is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
He hasn't seen my beloved Bohemians yet. We're brilliant without the ball. We never have it.
That's why you can't assure. Kerry Breen made a great point about David Ray. His concentration is for the whole 90 minutes. Where Ramsey admitted that he could never concentrate the whole game, but he came out for a ball, and I think it was around the 94th minute, right at the end, and his composure, and as you said there, Matt, the players were around him like it was like the winning.
Yeah.
The togetherness is beautiful. When you look at
David Ray, Jonathan, is one of a number of world-class players in our team.
Yeah. To be honest, really, I think David Ray is heads above Donnarumma. I don't know where they were raving about.
Donnarumma had a bad night last night, but he's a good goalkeeper.
What do you make, Eamon, Terry and Matt? I'll come to you. What do you make of the 2 goals from Donnarumma? Do you think they were just one-off mistakes from a top keeper? Was it just?
I think the first one, Trossard's cross.
It was so good.
It's what I describe as a mousetrap. Yeah. It was so teasing for the goalkeeper to come.
Yeah.
Right. But you see, there's lots of things happen in a split second, right? Yeah. So one of the things that happens is the player on the ball has a look up, and he has to have the skill to execute what he's trying to do. Havertz makes it easier for Trossard by his timing.
Oh, it's brilliant. Timing's fantastic.
As soon as Trossard sees Havertz with the timing that Havertz had, right, he puts in this ball that if the goalkeeper stays, he knows Havertz has a clean header. So he has to try and come. It was the mousetrap cross, and Donnarumma got caught in that mousetrap. He was terrible for the second goal. But the only thing I'll say is, soured about 3 of his defenders. There was a traffic jam there. It was like the traffic skill in Clontarf. He was, it was a traffic skill goal. It came out of the crowd, and he would have seen that very late. So but he is a good goalkeeper, Donnarumma.
No, I think with the Havertz goal, my first instinct when the ball was crossed in was he looks offside. But he was so fast. And when they actually, when they showed a replay and they stop it, And he was miles onside, obviously.
That's the timing, Matt. That's what I mean about the timing, you know?
Yeah, the timing was exceptional. And for the Saka goal, you know, look, in fairness to the goalkeeper, he would have thought somebody was getting a touch there. You know, it's very rare that goes through and nobody gets a touch on it. And you've seen a lot of them goals happen. You know, Saka didn't do a worldie from there. He crossed the ball in, looking, hoping somebody get a touch, and it just went all the way, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know whether he meant to cross it at a higher trajectory or low, but I'm gone. I read Arseblog this morning, and he reckoned that he meant to cross it in higher and didn't hit it particularly well. I don't agree with that.
No.
I think he meant to hit it low, because if you look at the runs that our players made,
100%.
Especially
they actually ran. They ran to unsight everybody.
Well, did you see Gabriel? Did you see the clip of Gabriel?
Yeah.
Telling the players he's going to hit it low.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was the whole thing, was somebody get their foot on it. But when a goalkeeper sees that, a goalkeeper standing there, the ball comes in like that, he automatically thinks somebody's going to dink it in, you know? Absolutely. So he's never expecting to go directly into net, you know? Again,
hats off to, he might be a little bollocks, but he's our little bollocks, and that's the set piece coach.
Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, no, 100%.
This guy is like something out of Walt Disney, like, you know.
It's like 27 goals from set pieces. It's just incredible, isn't it?
Every set piece is like something out of the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
How unlucky. I thought Martinelli had a great game, lads, as well last night. I think that goal against Leicester is just giving them that spark to get him going. But how unlucky was he not to score that little flick up from Havertz, and he took it first time? Either side had done a room and that was in, wasn't it? Just
I know, but that's, you know, for me, Martinelli, it's still missing something from his game. You know, I like Martinelli, but I still think he's missing something. I don't know if it's he needs individual coaching about how to shoot the ball or how to, you know, lay off the pass at the right time, whatever else. He's an excellent player. He's so good. But he's got this little, I don't know what it is, this little block that's stopping him from being unbelievable. Yeah. You know? There's just something. He puts in all the hard work and then it goes, you know?
It goes, yeah.
The question I asked on the show the other night, right? Imagine trying to mark him.
Yeah.
Mark, yeah.
No, absolutely. He's a nightmare. But like, I mean, a lot of the stuff he does, and it's just not a criticism of Martinelli has been excellent for us, and you know, he will go on to be an unbelievable player, but he needs to work on some parts of his game. Look, I'm not a football. I'm too fucking old to play football now anyway, right? But you know, there is something about him. Every time he gets on the ball, you think he'll do really good, and then he'll blow it, or he'll do make the wrong move, or he'll make the wrong pass, or he'll take the wrong shot, or you know, he'll bang into the goalkeeper. He can be exceptional. I said to my daughter about 3 years ago, I said Martinelli is the closest thing you will see to Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, that he's that good.
He is that good.
But he's missing something, you know?
It's the pressure on him as well, but the signings we've made, there's pressure on him to perform now, because every player's position is at risk, isn't it now, where there was a bit of a question a couple of seasons ago.
Just on the Martinelli thing.
Yeah.
Like, Matt's analysis is bang on. It just shows you how good Bukayo Saka is.
Yeah.
Because he has Martinelli and all the other things that you've identified.
Yes.
Right? Now, the pressure is on everybody, including Bukayo Saka, because if Bukayo Saka has 3 or 4 bad games, don't for one minute think Raheem Sterling won't get in ahead of him.
That's exactly what, and Sterling is poor, isn't he? He's itching to, I thought as well what was quite impressive, you know, when you look back on the match again, that high press, PSG just couldn't, all these big top football and urban sides though playing out from the back, they couldn't get out, you know, we had such a good press, they were making mistake after mistake, and you know, it shows the energy we have for nearly the whole 90 minutes, you know, and, you know, it was just really to control the second half. You know, we didn't have to go gun ho to get 3 or 4. 2 goals to do was, you know,
mature.
Yeah, very, very mature performance. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah, 4 points from two games now, lads. With 6 games, you know, do you think top 8 is a possibility for the Arsenal if we keep playing like this, Eamon?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. Look, we are certainly going to qualify. We will certainly be in the 9 to 16 bracket. But top 8 is a real possibility. But the point I made at the start of the show, that league is so random. It's too early to start looking at the league table now until about the 5th game in.
Yeah.
You know, because of the whole configuration of a pot 1 team playing against a pot 4 team, and then some piss pot team playing against a glue pot team, and all of that type of stuff. You know, so let's see where we are around 5 games in. You know, but that was a good point at Atalanta. And that's a great 3 points. And I noticed that the Meltdown FC on the tread last night was very muted.
I know Atalanta had a good away when I think they won 3-0 there, so they're a tough team. But the next game's the 22nd at home against Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you're going to get from them, but you'd assume.
If you throw another 3 points at that, you're in really good fettle. So you can only kind of, like, I think Ozzy said it on the show when we were talking at the start of the season about, generically, about the Champions League. Like, post your home games. Post your home games. See what you can do away from home, and it'd be okay. So look, I don't think we need to analyse that too much. It's early doors. It's a kind of a scrambled eggs tournament. You know, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Yeah.
I think a fair point to say, Matt, if you've got a good tight defence, you can nearly assume that you could win a trophy in a season. Do you expect yourself, Eamon? Sorry, you know, our defence is really good, isn't it? Really good.
It's the best. It's the best in the world, and people are going to, you know, people will debate that. You know, they'll always claim their own defence is better. But
where do you see our defence? I know it's early days yet. Where would you compare that to yesteryear teams' sides of ours? So who would be the closest that you've seen?
Oh well, it's right up there with it's right up there with your Adams, Bowl, Winterburn, and Dixon. Like, you know, but from a skill point of view, they're better. You know, they were like, you know, Adams, Dixon, Baldwin, Keown were unbelievable defenders.
Yeah.
But our defenders are as good at going forward and getting into good positions and creating chances than they were. You know, I mean, Adams, I saw him in an interview there recently, and he said, you know, that wasn't the best Arsenal defence he's ever played with. You know, but yet they are the back 4. They are the back 4. I have a picture of them signed in my bar of the 4 of them. You know, they are the ultimate back 4. But these guys, you know, Gabriel and Saliba are the best 2 centre backs in world football. And you know, anybody logically will tell you that. There's nobody better than them out there. You know, and when you can switch between Ben White and Calafiori or Timber or whatever else, and you have those options, you know,
Tommy Yasin.
And what?
Yeah,
Tommy Yasin as well, you know.
Tommy's been fantastic, you know, absolutely. Yeah. Tommy comes in, he puts in a serious shift. Yeah. And where he fits back into that lineup, where Zinchenko fits back in, I do not know.
Yeah, you're struggling. I was thinking about that last night. Like to say Saliba and Gabriel, you can't say they're better than Stepanovs and Grimaldi back in the day.
Well, you know, yeah. That's true. Well, let's not forget Mustafi as well.
The game has evolved. Like, in fairness, Tony Adams in his own book, not to get kind of sidetracked, but always said that the one regret about his career, particularly in the first kind of the pre-Wenger years, was that people didn't give him enough credit for the fact that he could actually play football. Because he was very good with the ball at his feet.
It was Tony Adams, yeah.
But in fairness, Wenger not only extended their careers, but he liberated them to play. Yeah. Jesus, Nigel Winterburn was like a new guy, you know.
Getting up and down the wing, yeah. I thought even Gary Neville said that 97, 98 defences was the best he ever saw. But he says what came after that with the likes of Campbell, he says they were dust brutes. He said, you know, you had physicality along with athleticism. So he says...
Well, and it's funny you should say that, because Gabriel and Saliba are brutes. Calafiori is a brute.
Yeah, and they've got pace.
Timber is a brute.
Brute,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I have to say, the fans are raving about him now, aren't they? He's becoming a real crowd favourite, Timber.
He's a proper player. He's a proper player.
He is, but there's a worry with Timber that he seems to be, there's a bit of glass about him, you know, where he seems to pick up injuries very easy.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
I think, that was a muscular injury the other night. He just felt something. When you've come back from an anterior cruciate, he's made 7 starts in a row, man.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I know.
I just think that it was more, that was more risk averse last night.
Yeah.
Get him off, you know.
And what do you see, Eamon, in relation to Ben when he comes back? Do you think Ben will walk straight back in?
Ben will find a way back in.
Yeah.
There's a training on sound, I'm sure.
The training pitch would be like an A&E ward if he doesn't get back in. You know what I mean?
That'd be great. Watch your gloves, son.
That's it.
I read a great thing about Ben before we finish. I read a great thing about Ben. He was saying that like when he was a kid, say 9-10 years of age, it was obvious to him that he was the best footballer in the parish, right? And it was all easy to him. So it was only when he went pro, not pro, but into a pro setup at 14, he realised other players could play as well. So he decided to embark on the journey of dark arts from a very young age to make sure he made it, you know.
And he is the master of dark arts.
Oh, he is, yeah,
absolutely.
Cardio sports. He's seen him in his fucking nightmares after last season.
Yeah.
But what a player, though, Ben White. Look, we all says everyone was looking at the price tag on his head. But look at him now. Like, it's amazing how heads are turned, isn't it, when they see what a player.
But this is down to Arteta as well. You know, having belief in these players, giving them the confidence, like Ben White,
I'm not knowing
Havertz and everything else. You know,
England lost in the Euros with him. I know it was probably a personal thing, but you could see that he could have added something to the England setup, couldn't he?
Yeah, long may it continue, and I hope Saka falls out with them too.
And Declan Rice.
For all our English listeners, this is not a negative disposition towards the English national team. I just follow the Arsenal, and I want their players to play for us. Yeah.
There you go.
Don't follow what we heard about them, and that's the big thing. Can I get briefly, lads? Starting with Eamon, your man of the match from last night.
Strangely enough, a fella that we haven't really mentioned, Bukayo Saka was my man of the match last night. He absolutely tortured PSG. Not only just on the wing, he moved infield, he got kicked, he got up. But the reason why I say it is that he's a very, very humble boy. And the dignity with which he wore the captain and the privilege which he wore the captain's armband last night, just makes me want to say he was my man of the match last night.
Brad said, Matt, your man of the match?
I'm going to go Koi. He got most people's votes. I thought he was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Everything he creates for the team is brilliant. But I want to just give a special mention. I think Kier, when he came on at half-time, he put in a really good shift.
Yes.
He really did. You know, he didn't look out of place. He was getting the tackles in. He was getting back. He was getting forward. I thought he just put in a really good shift. He wasn't spectacular. I did mention on the chat last night he was superb. Probably a stretch, but he certainly put in a really, really good shift when he came back.
The thing about Kivior is, if that hadn't happened to the two lads, I'd trust him.
No, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
I would trust him. You know.
No, absolutely. But I thought he came on, you know, in a tough situation, and knowing that we would probably be under a bit of pressure in the second half. I thought he put in a really good shift now, in fairness to him. You know, so that was great to see.
Yeah, well said.
I thought I'd give mine to Declan Rice, lads, just for the tireless work he puts in, you know, great box to box, but in particular for when Marquinhos near the end got the header and it went over, just for grabbing him and dragging him down, and then the slide grin and he got back up. You know, he's got a bit of the dark arts in him as well. But no, Declan Rice, what a captain, you know, what a player, and 100 and odd million is just a snip. I'd just like to thank Eamon Dundee for coming on, and Matt Bourne. Thanks, lads, for coming on. And this And we'll be back on Monday for a review of our game against Southampton. Best of luck with Aaron Ramsdale keeping us out. As always, catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and also on Spotify. But until then, have a good rest of the week, and thanks for listening and watching. Thanks, lads.
Thanks,
Cheers, fellas. Thanks a million.